Hi, my name is Joseph Alai. Welcome to my channel. And today I want to talk about how you can manifest anything that you want despite any obstacle. I'm talking about your manifestation. If you have a desire in mind, if you're in a position where you are afraid that you will not be able to do it, perhaps you do not have the experience to lean upon to convince yourself, or perhaps you need a better understanding of the fundamentals to convince yourself. I am here to tell you right now, from the most extremely large, crazy manifestations down to the tiniest, minute, simple things, I have manifested it all. Coming from a position of life where I was essentially doomed to despair, dying of addiction, entering in and out of jails and rehabs, to a position where I am free, successful, and have no longer any chains that bind me, and only the whole world is essentially at my claim, at my command, at my grasp. That was not an easy journey to take. And from the position of a jealous, insecure, fearful individual to a confident, secure, and peaceful, happy person. This is all attainable, from poverty to homelessness to a secure positions in life, secure location, secure house, and ultimately manifesting an amazing relationship. It doesn't matter where you are. It matters not. I have seen it all. My perspective of making these videos comes from the point of view of an individual who was at the very bottom. And it's no secret, that is my story. And given that that's my story, there is, in my perspective, when you're in a position where there is nothing else that can help you in this world, when your back is up against the wall, when there is no one, no thing, or essentially you cannot get out of the position that you're in with your physical person, the thing or entity or object or aspect of life that you must call upon is manifestation. And through utilizing and knowing and understanding how manifestation works in a predictable way, you can and will manifest yourself into the position that you want, and there is nothing or no one that can stop you. And I want to take you through this explanation, this idea, this understanding and application so that you can specifically utilize the same exact principles that I used to get whatever you want, whether that's money, whether that's success, whether that's a girlfriend or boyfriend, whether that is a secure relationship with someone, whether that's marriage, whether that's health, whether that's body changes, whether it's your happiness, well-being, your mental health, your diagnosis of this or that. It doesn't matter. I have seen, witnessed tens of thousands of times through my own personal tracked experiences, through trial and error, that this is all possible. And not only through my own experiences, but the hundreds of thousands of testimonials and success stories that have been sent to me through this exact process. So follow along and watch. By the end of this video, you will have the confidence and the ability to know how to use your own inherent ability to manifest whatever you want. So before we begin, please, if you want to help me more than anything else, hit the subscribe button. That's the best way to support me. If you want to support me that way, it's better than any other way. And aside from that, hit the like button. It does something to the algorithm so that those who wouldn't normally be able to see this will be able to see this. I post systematic manifestation videos, interpreted objectively through trial and error experiments, systematically over a 12, 13-year period. And essentially through the course of those years, I've been able to derive these common denominators, which can actually be utilized in a predictable way. You can use these techniques in a systematic, predictable way so that you can manifest in a focused method. So the bell icon, every Tuesday I release a new video, every Friday I release a new video, and then I release shorts throughout the rest of the weekdays. So let's talk about manifesting whatever you want. I think it's important to start with the idea of how this reality is changed, or formed rather. It's formed through our mind. Ever since we were a child until now, from that moment we first became aware or conscious, through our mind, this world has been taking form and being changed through our perception, our mind. Essentially the way that our mind impacts reality is through the subconscious. Now, there's no measurement system through observing the actual contents of the subconscious mind, but we can actually literally observe the impact our subconscious mind has upon this reality. And the way you can do that is by realizing, and you can derive, that every event and experience has been created in one form or another by us. Now, that means there is something that has had to exist within us that created whatever the experiences are in our life. So it's either direct imagining, meaning imagining something specific, or it's your thoughts or feelings or moods. That's one aspect. Now, if you're in a position where you are unsure or uncertain that you have ever thought of the thing, then the other aspect of reality, the other probably 80% of experiences we have, are derived through our assumptions and beliefs. Our unconscious or subconscious mind is creating consistently and repeatedly the blueprints that we have within the mind. Now, this happens not necessarily through our experience, meaning if you have had horrible experiences, but you have not necessarily had a memory or experience that could have caused the impression on the subconscious, because experiences are what impress the subconscious rather, then it's generally the perception of the experience. So in other words, if you came from a good upbringing, if you had very secure family life, if everything was beautiful and amazing, but you end up in a position where you are struggling terribly, you're suffering from mental health issues, your relationships are constantly going down, you're repeating the same patterns over and over, and you do not know where they are coming from. This comes from the perception of the event. So in other words, you could have experienced something, the actual experience itself could have been a neutral thing, but the perception of the mind may have interpreted it in a way which could have been ultimately impressing something that would have harmed you later. One example of this is something that had devastated my life for a very, very long time. And this was insecurities and fears of betrayal in relationships. Generally, outside of a relationship, I was consistently stable, a very chill, cool person, down to earth, etc. But the moment I would enter into the state of feeling in love, I would shift entirely. It would be like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. My entire demeanor would change indefinitely with the fears of abandonment and betrayal just absolutely permeating through my experience and causing the actions within me and actions in the other person to essentially break down the relationship and leave me in a position where I was betrayed or abandoned. Repeat over and over and over. Now, my childhood itself was not perfect, but it wasn't the worst of the worst of the worst. And essentially, my first experience of a relationship ended up in that way. So where did it come from? I was able to trace it back from an experience when I was young, where I was teased by my father. I was maybe 5, 6 years old, that my mother was never coming home. And I remember laying there in bed terrified, thinking, no, this can't be. And if you know anything about my references of my childhood, that being left there and with my father would have been the most horrific thing that I could have experienced. Now, I fell asleep, and when I woke up, my mother was there. But that damage had been done, that had been instilled, and it was just through teasing that had left this indelible stain upon my subconscious mind, which for the next, my goodness, I wasn't 30 years old when I came upon my solution of this solution of the betrayal and the insecurity and fear of abandonment, and coming up with how to fix it. And so every relationship I ever encountered was my outpicturing of these extreme fears that I had had, but nothing really had happened prior that actually realized them until the fear took over. So in other words, our reality right now, our circumstances, everything that we're experiencing is either an outpicturing of our mind, our imagination, our thoughts, our feelings, our moods, our memories, or the subconscious blueprints, the perceptions, the things that have essentially the judgments that we have made that have caused furthermore issues to unravel in our life. Now, the amazing thing about the fact that this world is our creation is the proof that we, furthermore, can change and modify the reality to fit our desired conception. Now, this world currently in its position, no matter what the problem you're facing is what I call a shuffling of the deck. So right now, your mind is in a hand that's been dealt. And throughout, or the current arrangement of thoughts, fears, ideas, experiences has shuffled the deck, and this is the hand that you are dealt at this current moment. However, this is not static or stagnant or indefinite or unchangeable. All it takes, the same way as your original thoughts had created the reality that you experience, or the culmination of every thought up until this moment has caused this reality. All that we must do is shift or transform our mind into the state or the arrangement of thoughts that we wish were true, and the reality will reshuffle itself, and the deck itself will land in the position that you want it. Now, this is possible because of the nature of reality. Neville Goddard has a saying that radically changed my life when I found the true meaning of it. And that saying is, everyone is you pushed out. Correctly, it is translated, everyone is yourself pushed out. And essentially what it means is everything exists inside of you. And this comes from a non-dual teaching, which essentially states that there is no separation between our essential self. In other words, the fact that if you right now thought of a specific person or the job that you want or the money, if you can go there in your mind, you realize that there is yourself experiencing it through your perception or your memory, which then is your mind, which exists within your awareness. So therefore, any type of memory, any type of thought, any type of perception, anything in the past, any projection of the future, imaginal act, all of that is stuff that is made up of mind, right? And that mind is your awareness. You are aware of what you're thinking, and you're thinking of that thing. Now, if you look at the screen, if you look at the person nearest to you in real life, not thinking of the mind, what happens when you're doing that is you're experiencing that person. Now, an experience like that, your sense perception is just that you are sensing something, which is then perceived. And that perception exists within the mind. And that mind, you are aware of that mind. So in other words, no matter which way you spin it, there is never a direct experience of a person, place, or thing. In other words, everything exists within your senses, which is the perception, which is the mind, which is awareness. And therefore, everything exists within your awareness. And that is why everyone is you pushed out. And the exact definition of that, in another way said, is everything exists within inside of your essential being, which is your consciousness. Now, your consciousness, your awareness, your essential self is that which is explained in the Bible as I am. In other words, when you say I am Joseph Alai, I am saying I am aware of being Joseph Alai. Or I am happy as I am aware of being happy. Or I am in a relationship with Athena is, I am aware of being in a relationship with Athena. So in other words, that I am is the same I am as spoken of in Exodus 3. In Exodus 3, God's name, he says and admits directly that his name is I am. He says, I am that I am, meaning I am that same awareness, that same I am. And then he goes on to say that that is the same I am throughout all generations. And essentially that means is everyone and everything in this world who says the phrase I am or has an awareness of being is God. And as God, that means that you have the power to do everything that is attributed to God, in theory, if you're following along with me. And with that said, now, if you've ever manifested before, you know that you bring something within the mind, and then somehow it is projected outside. Now, we just went through the process to realize that nothing actually manifests outside. And in fact, we said just the reverse. Things outside actually exist within the consciousness. The same thing as a thought exists within the consciousness. And therefore, there is no difference between a thought and a person, each consisting of the material called awareness or consciousness. And now, that is why it is so easy to manifest whatever you want. We think that there's objective physical impossibility to control and manage a person's body, mind, and spirit, etc. But in reality, what's happening is there's no difference inherently or essentially between the thought or the person. So all we need to do to imagine the thing that we want, to manifest the thing that we want, is to bring it within the awareness and imagine the thing that we want. And therefore, there's no effort involved to force or compel anything to become something. The fact that we bring it within the awareness itself, and that created a reality outside, really within ourselves. We've done this our whole life. So literally all we've got to do is imagine ourself, right? The contents of ourself, which now consists of everything, to be the image that we wish that it was. I am married now, right? We're not imagining that a person will become a person who's married to me and I will become a person who is married to that person. We literally, within the mind, imagine the state of reality, the state of consciousness that we wish to experience. And we realize now there's no difference between a thought and a person and an experience and a thunderstorm and a hot day and a ice cream sandwich. There's no difference inherently. It all exists within. There's no direct experience, physical experience. It's all awareness. So it is so simple. There's no difference. It's literally the same thing as flipping a thought, thinking a thought. Bringing a thought within the mind is the same thing as making a person appear in the image that you want them. So what do you want? You do not consider the means. All that you do is imagine yourself from the perspective of having what you want, and reality, awareness, consciousness, the same way as your reality has been shaped. The person who you want, they're in the position they are now because of your current state of consciousness. You did not have to force them to become that person. It was natural. But there's a process that you can undergo. Picture them from the perspective of them already being your person, your husband or wife, your best friend, your whoever. Or imagine yourself as the successful entrepreneur, the healthy person, the fit person, the happy person, the person with an amazing social circle. Your consciousness, there's no difficulty, right? Your consciousness, all it needs to do is flicker on that person within the perception of how you want them, which is easy. It's just as bringing a thought within the mind. There's no difference. So the bridge of incidents that leads you from here to the end is dependent upon your imagining of the end. What you should be focused on is defining a reality you wish to experience. Your current state of affairs, the fact that he's broken up with you, the fact that you're broke and in debt, the fact that you are about to go to jail, the fact that you're addicted to this, or the fact that you're miserable and hating yourself because of this, or this person screwed you over. None of that matters. That's all because of yesterday's thoughts. There is nothing you have to do. Bring forth an image in your mind's eye. Now that could be, remember, all you have to do is experience your reality temporarily from the point of view that you wish were true. In other words, what would it be like? What would it feel like? Those questions, ask yourself those questions. The natural arising within consciousness of the answer is all that you need to hold there. Keep it within your consciousness temporarily, meaning hold it there and make it real. Whether that means you can clearly see it, vaguely sense it, vaguely know it. All you've got to do is know what it is within your mind that you're experiencing and hold it there. And consciousness will render, just like on a TV, will render the reality that you wish to be true. And just like on a TV, even though it appears that a character is here and a character is here, the fact that it's on the screen right here, just like you see me, there is no actual space. There's no actual depth. There's no actual distance from this hand to this hand. It's all within the same material. Pixels on your phone, pixels on your screen. There's no depth. Right? This is just literally the same substance, electricity and glass. And the same thing as this all, if you look around now, is awareness and consciousness. And that is the same material as a thought. So imagine what you want, hold it there for a minute, and let it go. And the reality itself will outpicture a new shuffling of the deck, and you will wind up as a person who has exactly what you want. And it will be given to you in a perfectly miraculous way. You do not need to figure out how that's done. And in fact, make sure you do not. Choose only what you want, imagine it, and let go. So anyway, I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, like I said, the most important thing you could do to help me is to hit the subscribe button. Besides that, hit the bell icon to stay tuned for any type of systematic manifesting stuff. Please write your comments below. Write your successes, your testimonials below. It's helping people more than you could imagine, sincerely. And stay tuned for the next one. Thank you.